Okay. Let me get this straight. I get to use a futuristic directed energy weapon in Call of Duty? I only got one thing to say.
Fire the laser!
Let's do this! Sorry, got a little carried away. Hello everyone, I'm Spcbrawlerz, aka Brawlerz, and welcome to my 4th weapon review in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This time, the EM1 makes its appearance in the field. A brand new weapon in the heavy weapon category. This weapon has the best in class damage, along with being the first futuristic weapon introduced in the Call of Duty series, since an arm firing a giant laser is a first for everyone. But since the release of the game, this weapon has gone from popular to being used on a slightly below average basis. I'm gonna get off topic here in a little bit, but I've done some research on my own and found some very interesting info towards directed energy weapons, or DO for short, as a part of reality. But I'll let you do that on another time if you are interested in these types of weapons. For now, we're here to see the EM1 in action. So let's start this review. Unlocked right from the get-go and a part of Creator class, the EM1 is a semi-automatic weapon. Burst fire weapon? What about a fully automatic arm? Okay, how about all of the above? Alright! This arm can be used to however you like, but generally it is best to hold down the button for firing. The rate of fire with the EM1 is kind of unknown, but from what I have looked up and tested, it is about 1,200 RPM, or 20 RPS. Kind of like an SMG with a hint of steroids in its systems. A unique feature that only few weapons have, including the EM1, is the fact of no ammunition is needed whatsoever, which is awesome. But here's where it will cost you. The feature you need to keep an eye for is its overheating. And for an energy weapon, it makes sense not to overuse these types of arms, especially a heavy one. The EM1's penetration stats are unfortunately low. Your hostiles must be out in the open to get your kill, with the exception of glass and very thin obstacles. Since this heavy son of a gun has no bullets to kill, instead you will need to time it out or get the kill, meaning that it will take some seconds for your target to go down. At close to mid ranges, an average of 0.5 to 1.25 seconds will be required to get a kill, with the exception of players using exostim, which with those players will need more firepower from the laser. At mid to long ranges, it should take you no more than 2 to 2.5 seconds to get your target. Just do not use this weapon as a sniper rifle. You will get some hits, yes, but your hostiles might need more than 3 seconds to go down. All in all, the closer you are, the better. As for the raise and drop times, you will have a 0.75 second mark for your gun to go down, and a 1.2 seconds to bring it back up. This is one of the down features of the EM1, so just keep in mind that if you're going to be raising and or lowering this weapon, keep caution. The in down sight time with the EM1 is at 0.6 seconds, but this is optional for some players, and at the same time can come in handy in some situations, which I'll touch on a bit. Changing on with the crosshairs, these are one of the smallest, if not the smallest crosshairs in the game, almost aligning themselves with the shotguns and the SMGs. Now for the hipfire stats, and can gladly say that out of all the heavy weapons in the game, this weapon is the best hip firing arm in its class. In fact, it is recommended in some cases to do this type of firing. Like I mentioned earlier, aiming and hip firing with the EM1 can be done with no problem, unless your opponent is at a certain distance. Speaking of distance, you will need your iron sights for that, and the irons are a glass piece with a circle. Kind of an exclusive optic for the EM1, but this shouldn't be an issue. You can get funky with this weapon if you want an optical sight on it. For your reload times, this arm doesn't have that, but a cooldown time if you overheat your weapon. The EM1 will withstand its laser up to 4.5 seconds before hitting its maximum point. Once it overheats, it'll take 2.5 seconds to fully cool down. So if you do not want this to happen, don't spam the laser. While shooting with the EM1, its recoil is medium to low. The medium part can be complicated if you are aiming down and your enemies are constantly on the move. So be cautious and try to get as close as you can to secure the kill. And finally, an 80 to 85% base speed is experienced with this heavy arm. This is pretty slow, so don't be surprised if you can't evade your enemies while running around with this weapon. Now, up first, how would you like a sight? Not mandatory, but can change up your game a bit if you try them out. The irons are crystal clear, and it is exceptional, so it's your choice. But try not to use a sight. It'll save you a point in the Pick 13 system. What about an attachment? Well, only a few are available to utilize, so why not give them all a spin? Finally, the modifications. The only mod, and possibly the most useful attachment, is the heatsink. You increase the laser's duration from 4.5 seconds to 5.5 seconds before it needs a mandatory cooldown. Once you unlock this attachment, place it on. Well, time for the perk tier rankings. And for our first tier, coming in at third place is Danger Close. Second place will be a tie between Lightweight and Overcharged. But I would say for first place, Black Jacket takes its stand. Allowing yourself to move around the field and having the slight advantage of withstanding grenades and other types of explosives is important as you're aiming with the weapon. Now for the tier 2, third place is Blind Eye. Second place, Cold Blooded will take its place. As for first place, there will have to be a tie between Peripherals and Gung Ho. Peripherals will be that simple yet effective rectangular map display on the left hand side of your screen. And Gung Ho also takes its place, since you can use this weapon as a hip firing weapon. It shouldn't be that big of an issue if you can run around and walk at the same time as you fire with the EM1. Now for the final tier, third place, well, there isn't really a third place. Only two actually make the EM1 kind of useful. So we'll just say second place will be Hardline, but first place will be Hardwired. Having an enemy's EMP grenades, system hacks, and or anything else that the enemies can utilize to disorient and or slow down your killing spree is the last thing you want. So having Hardwired equipped will counter this issue. And all you have to really worry about is the enemies and what they are using. Interested in using any exo abilities? Well, the only ones I would actually recommend are Exo Stim and Exo Shield. Exo Stim will give you that additional healing ability if you're getting hurt a lot in the field. And Exo Shield, for any of you that like playing by the objective, if you have no cover, simply pop out your shield and you will be protected for a little bit. What about any lethals or tacticals? Well, I would only use frags and semtexes. Most for those who like playing by the objective, especially in game modes such as Domination or Momentum. Now for the wild cards. For the blue tier, it's no surprise that Primary Gunfighter will always take the play. The green tier, any perk greed will do. For the red tier, I would say it's all on you. But personally, I love using Bombardier, since you can spam grenades like crazy. Just utilize the semtexes instead of a frag grenade. Replace 2 frag grenades for 2 semtexes and leave a frag grenade only as a whole, because popping these frag grenades can get frustrating, especially since the grenades can bounce around like if they're on steroids. Now, should you bring a secondary? I would say yes, since the EM1 gives off multiple hits, and if your enemy is making his or her escape, switch to a lighter arm and try your best to catch up to your opponent and take him down. And the supply drop variants are here, which are the following. Utilizing and getting 300 kills with the EM1 grants your permanent EM1, and it's called Vera. Transcending to the enlisted group, we have Dimension, LEL, Magnified, and M-Coil. All of these EM1 varieties shoot out a blue beam. Moving into the professional loot, the Last Laugh, Sweet Dreams, and The End are the names of these weapons. All of these weapons shoot out a yellow beam. Coming in with the elite varieties, it's none other than the Polar Vortex and the Pruner. Kind of a funny name. The Polar Vortex shoots out a green beam, while the Pruner shoots out a beautiful purple/pink beam. There is also an exclusive EM1 variety called Quantum, which is only available through the Advanced Arsenal Pack, which is just simply the basic EM1, but instead of the original camo, you'll have a brass bullet camo, which shoots out a red beam. Keep yourself intact with any of them. Just pick at least one from each variety, because there are just so many colors to choose from, especially the elite versions. And one more quick note, the Sweet Dreams comes with an integrated target enhancer. If you want to use this target enhancer to the fullest, try switching out from the lethals to some smoke grenades. As you pop these out, you'll be able to see enemies running around as you are hiding in the smoke. Try to take them out by surprise, and you'll leave your enemies with a lot of questions. It seems that we're at the end of the review, but before heading out, let's head into the world of the undead and exo zombies, because this weapon is available there. The EM1 in zombies is, well, unimpressive. Available through the printer at 1,000 credits, this arm isn't powerful unless you get it in the early single-digit waves. On top of that, the EM1 has weak penetration and is still slow in general. A unique feature that is in exo zombies and not in multiplayer is the EM has a battery life percentage instead of an infinite laser with a cooldown. You can literally hold down and fire non-stop until the battery life hits 0, and can only gain a fully charged battery with a full reload drop, and or if you upgrade the weapon. Well, I'm kind of being unfair here with this gun. On the flip side, this arm can get your money back, and more if you utilize it for at least 2 ways. As you pump this weapon up, you will get a laser sight on Mark IV, and that's pretty much it. From my experience, I wouldn't bother upgrading this weapon unless you have a ton of cash to spare. Even upgraded, as you progress through higher waves, it will still get you a lot of points, but not many kills. If you want to use this weapon, do not go into a horde while firing and or carrying this weapon. This weapon is a straight out credit maker. Treat it as such. Having a last look at the EM1, you can say it has its ups and downs in a heavy package. This is kind of sad to see this weapon frequently as of the game's release and took a wind downward. From time to time, you can find that someone being unique and utilizing this colorful laser. Who knows? That someone can be you, if you are willing to try this gun out. Heavy, yet recognizable in various colors. As you put pressure on your foes with your EM1, get the kill, and they're done. That concludes the review of the EM1. Thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something new today. Hope you got crazy ideas going on in your head. But most of all, I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you'll join me in the next review, for the first shotgun review of this game will be in play, which is the TAC-19. Until then, game on, gamers.